New face, new place. We've got Tony Pollard now with the Titans. Really interesting signing here. Talk to me about Tony Pollard.
This one's interesting, John. For those of you who don't know or don't remember, Tony Pollard came from the Dallas Cowboys running in tandem with Zeke. He definitely was able to take over last year, and he was okay. I'll hit on that in a second. But to your point, he's now playing with the Titans, signed a 3-year, $21 million deal, $10.5 million guaranteed. Dude got paid. John, what he did last year, and actually he's ran in back-to-back seasons, he's now ran over 1,000 yards, which is really good. He's had 6 rushing touchdowns this past year, 55 receptions, 311 receiving yards. And you know what's really interesting, John? He was actually the third best. Actually pulled that stat graphic, John. He was the third best in yards after contact, okay? And so what this is telling me is if you're trying to tackle Tony Pollard, good luck. He's a handful to do. So now when you think about going from that of the Dallas Cowboys into now of more the Titans realm, to your point, this is really interesting because he's not ground and pound like that of Derrick King Henry was, right? He's very much more like a heavier Tajay Spears. And so, John, I don't know how this is really going to work out because Tajay Spears was absolutely the third down back and quite frankly was the speed demon and it worked really well with that of King Henry. But when you look at Tony Pollard, I mean, at 55 receptions, like this is also a guy that needs the rock out of the backfield from the pass catching perspective. So this is really interesting. They did, and we'll hit on this again in New Faces and New Places, John. They signed Calvin Ridley. They still have D-Hop, right? Will Levis, who's a second-year quarterback from that of Kentucky now. Like there's just a lot of interesting items. They signed Tyler Boyd, right, as their receiver 3. So there's a lot of things in the air, a lot of changes on this particular offense. So for me, this is going to be one that I'm going to want to wait on a tad and see how this starts to unfold, John.
Yeah, we're looking at fantasy perspective here. Last year he finished running back 18. This year he's being drafted as the running back 26, coming off at 85 and ADP. So, you're looking at round 7 or so for Tony Pollard. It's not a guy I don't get really excited about. I have to be honest with you. If he had tore it up completely on his own, in Dallas, even for that matter, which once Zeke left, it really wasn't the same. It really wasn't. It's just a guy that I see myself skipping over often because in that range, there's other options. There's a lot of receivers in those rounds. And, other running backs like Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, guys I like much, much more than I like him. DeAndre Swift, even.
Yeah.
I like more than, I just think the upside is much better. I don't see a ton of upside for Tony Pollard in Tennessee. We had Derrick Henry there. That's all we've ever really seen is Derrick Henry. We know how much they love Tajay Spears as well. And based on what Tony Pollard told us when Zeke left, he doesn't want to be a workhorse back. He doesn't want to carry the entire load. I think they're going to work in Tajay Spears a lot. I think it's going to be very similar to a Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren situation. I think it's going to be a 1A, 1B, and I'm not sure either guy's really going to give you a ton of fantasy value. Maybe in a juicy matchup, you can, play the matchup and put him in for a week. I don't see it as being a guy that you feel good about putting out there week to week.
John, would you say that when he was on Dallas, he was slightly dwindling in play in comparison to Rico Dowdle?
God damn it, Frankie. It's Rico Dowdle.
Okay. I got it. Dowdle. God damn it.
You're only going to get that joke if you watched last episode. Watch. In fact, post it right there, okay? So you can see Frankie just murdering Rico Dowdle's name. Frankie's good for that like every other episode, just completely destroying someone's name.
I like to keep it interesting. Keep you guys on your toes,
Keeping it 100. I like that.